All right, this example is kind of a continuation of the previous example, right? We got two parts here. But we have in part A, we have objects A and B that are moving. They're both moving away from the origin, and then in part B, we've got objects C and D that are both moving toward the origin. Okay. Now, one thing in this example, we're going to assume that moving to the right is positive and the left is negative, all right, which is typically how we set up a number line. We have the positive numbers to the right and negative numbers to the left. And so in part A, both of these objects are moving away from the origin. And so let's first of all look at this object A. Object A, the displacement S. S is displacement. It's to the right of the origin, so it's positive, right? The displacement is positive, okay? Because that's the way we've defined our number line, is that to the right is positive. And it's moving to the right, so its velocity is also positive, okay? Now, with object B is to the left of the origin. And so the displacement would be negative, right? We would use a negative sign to indicate the direction of this, from the origin of the object. And it's also moving to the left, so we would say its velocity is negative also. Okay. So object A has a position to the right, and it's moving to the right. So that makes sense that it's moving away. It's moving away from the origin. Object B is to the left and it's moving to the left, right? So both the displacement and the velocity are negative, and that it makes sense that it's moving away from the origin. All right, let's take a look at these two objects down here, C and D. Now they are both moving toward the origin. Okay, and so object C, the displacement is positive, right, because it's to the right of the origin, but its velocity is negative, right, because it's moving to the left, right? Its position is to the right, but it's moving to the left, so it's moving toward the origin. And object D, its displacement is to the left, so the displacement would be negative, right? We'd use a negative sign to indicate that it's to the left. And its velocity, all right, it's moving to the right, right? So its velocity is positive. Okay, so if the displacement is to the right but is moving to the left, it makes sense that it's moving toward the origin, right? So if displacement is positive and velocity is negative, then it's moving toward the origin. Whereas object D, its displacement is to the left and it's moving to the right, which makes sense that it would be moving toward the origin. But we're using positive and negative to indicate direction, not left and right. So its displacement is negative and its velocity is positive. Okay, so just to sort of generalize here, you can see that when an object is moving away from the origin, the sign of its displacement and its velocity are the same, either positive and positive or negative and negative, right? The displacement and the velocity have the same sign. And when an object is moving toward the origin, the displacement and the velocity have opposite signs. So either the displacement is positive and the velocity is negative, which means its position is to the right but it's moving to the left, right? Or its displacement is negative and its velocity is positive, meaning that it's positioned to the left of the origin but it's moving to the right. In both of those cases, those objects are moving toward the origin.